In the storage room doing a backpack review, another bag review, the only quiet place I can find in my home for now. And yeah, here is the Adidas AP Syst. It sounds like a medical condition. Systs for system, AP for advanced, no, adaptive. Maybe it's this rolling thing, or maybe it stands for adventure pack. Who knows? Anyway, that is the name of it. Let's just go through the tags. AP Syst backpack. Yeah, we have, here we go, AP adaptive packing system. So 24 to 33 liters is the claim. We have a back panel ventilation, adaptive volume with front access, yes. Water repellent shell fabric. Anything else? Adjustable waist and chest, yes. Padded surface, water repellent, adaptive volume, yep. Yeah, the ventilated foam construction. Okay, so here's the backpack. And a lot of the praise is the looks. It looks stellar with this like shiny kind of water repellent coating that they have. Their thermoplastic, etc. Has nice little reflective points here and here. A must for black. There's another reflective point. So they market this as a urban commuter and a adventure backpack, and I guess you can say it's both. I would say it leans more towards a urban commuter as opposed to an outdoor backpack, which I bought this for. I paid, I think it retails around about 110 USD, and I paid half of that. It was like a sale on top of a sale to get this, so I'll probably end up keeping it despite its flaws that I feel it has. Some flaws, so you have to stick with this review to get the pros and cons. Of course, this is more of an overview because I haven't extensively used it. Just got it. I can tell you what kind of issues it has and what it doesn't have. Okay, so we have a front access point where you can open it for quick access, zipper it open, and you have these water repellent type of zippers. Main compartment is just orange, high-vis orange, and you have the net on the, which is okay, not that deep in my opinion. This thing doesn't go that deep, but you do have the expandability over here when you unroll the top, so you could expand it more. So let's check that out. So you unclip here. The other side has a clip as well to unclip, which is here. Squeeze, pull. Okay, then you can unroll it. You can get an idea of how massive this can become. So then I guess you can fold it maybe like this amount, but then it's that high, not that thick, but high. Then you have the other part of the zipper, so it basically opens from the top or from the bottom. First kind of con, it's because security reason, I guess. If you were in some kind of gypsy land where there's a bunch of thieves, and then you wear this and you decide to wear it in the back, it's so easy to open this part with the zipper just right there in front. So yeah, it's easy to kind of open like that way. Okay, so you have the dual zipper design, so you can open it from the bottom without unrolling the top, or you can, I guess, open from the top if you have this zipper all the way down like so. The top is unzippered, so it gives you an option whether you want to open it from the bottom or open from the top. So this is, I guess, duffel style. This is what people mean when they say duffel. Do you think that gives you better access to the contents? I guess it's supposedly, if you're kind of stacking it in, it's hard to search for things, but this will make it easier if you can just lay flat. Okay, so one of the cons that I have found just by wearing it is the water bottle holder on the side. Okay, so this is it. The water bottle is in, it's very deep, so this is good for cyclists, I guess, or anyone else who want to keep it very secure inside there. But because this is not so long from the body, and this backpack actually rides kind of high, not too high, but you can't run it, you don't have the option to run it low basically, because you have this front strap. So you don't want this strap to be high up on the front of your body too, where it's like around your neck. If you did that, then you can lower the backpack lower. So I find that when you have this properly adjusted to your body, this backpack part is actually a bit high. And for me to actually wear the backpack and to use one arm to get the water bottle, which means that I feel like you would have to take the backpack off to hydrate yourself. And I feel like that's a kind of big no-no for adventure packing if you were to use this as a hiking backpack, because you want to keep hydrated and keep sipping water if you could. There is a hole on the top here, I guess, if you wanted to run. So this is either to run a water hydration system if you want to stuff it inside the laptop area, or this is for, I guess, a cable, power cable. Maybe if you want to run a camera off the front strap and then run a power cable in here. I suppose that's the difference. So I guess you could use a hydration pack instead of this, but it does run high. This is my normal hiking backpack. This runs much lower on the body, and I'm able to put my arm to the side and actually pick this out and put it back in and hydrate as I'm walking. I don't have to stop. So that's the difference. And as you can see with this one, it's similar. I mean, that concept is similar. This one actually has a huge like back area that's aired out. You can see there's a concave frame. So this one actually is not that big. I think it's only like 20, although the size, you can see the size difference. They're like almost the same. This one can't expand out. So there is some pluses and minuses to like this is a real outdoor. So this one can expand, and then they have the holders on the side over here, which is kind of okay, but I actually never clip these on. I do use these pockets, they're useful, but I never clip them on. So that is one of the pro of this one. You have these huge like pockets in the front, and I think from now on, every like backpack should have this kind of like cell phone holder. That's what I would call it. This one is actually very good. There's a cell phone in here, and it's super easy to load it in and out. This is very flexible. So having easy access to your phone and not have to keep it in your pants pocket is really great. This one's more tighter, so I don't know what you would put in here. A power bank, some snacks, or a very thin flashlight you can put in there, or a notebook if you need to take notes down. But yeah, these things are great. The only con would be that, you know, you can't run them high because they stick out and you don't want this hitting your neck. A pro of this as well is that because it's so wide, it actually makes the strap feel comfortable because it's nice, wide, and the weight is distributed. But the con of that is that there's always pros and cons, that it's more wider on your body, and because of that, the water is not going to evaporate there. So you'll probably have a wet spot if you're in a humid area underneath these parts, right? So it's pros and cons. Okay, so you have a big main compartment that's expandable with this, and you have this water repellent material. By comparison, this is sort of a water repellent material, but absorbs. No, actually, I would say this is not water repellent, but this one, by difference, is that it comes with in the bottom here, it stores, sorry for the noise, it stores a rain cover. So actually a rain cover is best. The guy who in the review complained about this one flooding his laptop and stuff. Yeah, this won't be made for downpours. This may survive downpour better because it has a built-in rain cover, or you can buy a rain cover to cover this one. But the idea is that sort of weather resistant, but not like extreme. So there's a kind of limitation of this kind of bag. That's why I still feel it's more of a urban commuter backpack, or a cyclist backpack, or maybe a motorcyclist, as opposed to a dedicated outdoor. Especially because it's kind of like, okay, it has a expanding area here, which is kind of narrow, but if you're doing an outdoor adventure, I feel like you're not going to be using the computer laptop side, which is, I'm going to open up right now. And so I guess you can store stuff inside that, like snacks or whatever, or maybe you put your clothes in there. I'm not really sure. Or maybe just for your electronics. Okay, so this is the laptop section. So not that wide either. You have a laptop space with a little loop over it, or latch. Then you have here, I guess is this for hydration. So I guess if you could, but you put a hydration here if you want. I don't know, this will be the section, I guess, of your electronics, or maybe you can view this as your passport and every other type of secure, more valuable stuff you put here, because it's quite close to the body. So you see the zipper is like more hidden, more tucked. This label really needs to be cut off if you're going to use this thing, because this really gets in the way of closing this zipper. But, like the high-vis orange, easier to see the stuff inside. I guess you could put a laptop and an iPad here. It is padded. You feel the bottom. Yeah, it's padded. So yeah, it'll be safe in here. Let's see. I can actually see through this material and see the padding underneath. So I just wonder, if you're sweating a lot, how much of that water would intrude into here. I don't know how this would, if the sweat would actually get into the interior through, you know, like capillary effect of the water moving through and the fabric and getting into the interior and just making it swampy. Yeah, and that makes me wonder as well, you know, you have this exterior material, like it's obviously water repellent, but then it's not water, it's not breathable. I guess it's better to have a water repellent. Okay, so the usual straps over here to adjust. I really don't feel like I need these kind of straps. I'm not so technical, but that's about keeping it closer to your body. Have a center strap that is adjustable, that goes to, clips in, and it can adjust up and down. All good. Those are all the standard features. Is this even YKK? It doesn't look like it. Does that mean it's gonna break? Who knows? Here's the ventilator back, and then has like these cubes that collapse. So from wearing it, I don't feel these cube things, so it actually feels comfortable. So it doesn't feel awkward. So this gives you a chance for it to breathe. Not as fancy as this one, which is like a frame that really keeps everything off your back. This is the most breathable style, and probably maybe the most able to get the mosquitoes to bite your back. But that's also the con of this. One of the major con of this, it takes up so much of that interior space. So this looks like it's a bigger backpack, but actually it concaves in on this space. Okay, so that's a good feature. Whether it's if you go to tropical, you don't even need to be hiking to enjoy this kind of like airing out your back. You don't want your back to be so swampy. Okay, we're up to the belt strap, which is useless. I actually really prefer like this kind of storage holder. I think it's so imperative to have a front easy to access pockets for like phone and all of those small things. Yeah, I usually keep like insect repellent or whatever flashlights in these things, but I think this is like better. Like I said, I never even buckle these up. So with something like this, I like that it's actually kind of cheesy. There's no padding or anything. It's kind of like it seems like an afterthought, but I suppose, okay, if you're a cyclist or a motorcycle guy, you might want this thing to just make it more secure. Keep a hug to your body. You don't want any aero lift of the bag. But for me, I'm never going to use this, and I love the fact that it's actually Velcro. If you want to hear it, it's like inside there's the male and the female Velcro piece inside, so you actually can remove this without cutting it. So for someone like me, I would have cut it off, these extra things I would never use dangling, but you can remove it, and then I guess you can decide to reinstall it depending on the activity you're going to use. So if you're an urban commuter and you're just walking, you're not going to need this. Is ugly and it's really ridiculous. I guess if you're going on a venture, you may want to use this. Or if you're like scrambling rocks and then you just need more, you're doing more active movements, you'll definitely want something like this. But even I think I'll scramble a rock, a boulder or whatever, I won't ever use this thing because I don't think you're really carrying that much weight in here. This is not a huge pack that demands that. So, okay, conclusion. Is all the what's this for? They say it's a venture pack. You can say it's okay, a venture pack. It's just the biggest flaw is just that water ball. That's something that bugs me. I almost thought to return it, but I got about 50% off. I'm probably not going to return it at the price I got. But yeah, it makes it annoying to one hand reach for the water bottle. So, but it holds two, and I'll have to just, if I decide to use this, I'll have to, adjust for that. But yeah, the weather resistant, it's okay for the rain, just not downpour. According to the guy's review, the downpour will have it seeping in, and most likely it will, because these are not 100% foolproof on downpours. These are more rain resistant. If you want downpour, you'll probably want a Mystery Ranch. I had my review on the Mystery Ranch sling bag. Those things are really waterproof, and the Mystery Ranch makes the high water series. They make a book bag, a backpack, book bag also, so that will be your choice. But for most people, yeah, this will be it. If you count on downpour, just get out of the downpour if possible, or you can buy a rain cover. So yeah, that's it. I hope that can help people make a decision on this, or I don't even know if they're going to continue this series. But I'll have to say as well that they have a Adidas Mercedes AMG collab backpack that costs about 180 USD, so it's you're paying like an extra like $70 premium for the collab. And that one has looks like almost exactly the same design as this one. Maybe the material's a little bit different and the design's slightly the color and the like logos of AMG is on it. So if you're interested in that backpack, it'll be similar to this, the pros and cons of it. So yeah, obviously Urban Commuter has all the extra pockets and laptop holders fully protected for your laptop, and then you have this real expandability, I guess, if you wanted to carry extra clothes or thermos bottles or smaller camera gear, I guess. So, and then your phones and whatnot, power banks and earphones, AirPods, you could carry here. So as an urban commuter, this is an excellent bag, I think. And get caught in the rain to protect your electronics as long as it's not downpour. As an adventure, it's just less. I feel it's less an adventure pack or an actual outdoors pack. I think this probably makes more sense. I don't think people will cross shop that. If you're a serious outdoors person, you're probably not going to use this. But style wise, excellent. So that's pretty much a review. Thanks for watching. See you next time.